For the World Bank Group, private sector investment is critical because if we are to have any hope of achieving goals that we set the past spring, which is to end extreme poverty by 2030 and to boost shared prosperity, especially for the bottom 40% of societies, the private sector has to be involved. You know, official development assistance is so important. It's about $125 billion a year. But what we've realized is that $125 billion a year will pay for infrastructure investment just in Africa. And so what about the rest of the world? We know that wise use of official development assistance, especially to leverage private sector investment, is the only way we're going to be able to reach our goal of ending poverty and boosting prosperity, especially for the bottom 40%. We will get there, but only with huge involvement on the part of the private sector. The most important thing that the business community should know about the World Bank Group is that we are deeply committed to bringing the private sector into the work of helping countries develop. You know, people all over the world want the same thing. They want a good job. They want health care. They want education for their children. But they also want to feel that there's hope for the future, so that their own children will be living in worlds where they have all the opportunities that everyone else has. And so we know that there's no way to get there without the private sector being very involved. And at the World Bank Group, the way that we've worked over the last 70 years of our history is that we work with the governments, and we've worked with governments from the very beginning. But since 1955, we've worked in the private sector. We started off by just giving loans to companies interested in working in the private sector in the developing world. But now we're making equity investments, and we're trying to do everything we can to ensure that anything we do is accompanied by tremendous participation from the private sector partners. We know how to make things work in developing countries. We understand both the public and the private sector. We know how to decrease the risk of any investment in a developing country, and we are open for business. We think that we can play a role in helping the private sector in the United States and in other parts of the world to not only make money, but to contribute to the development of societies in a way that I think ultimately they'll be very proud.